Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Today, we're going to be speaking about early stage venture and seed investing. This is a very important topic more than ever here in 2021, as we have seen the average investment round at this stage grow almost double of that last year. We're resting right around 2.5 million at the average seed round right now, according to PitchBook. And those numbers at the Series and Series A levels are even pushing higher as well. But what does this mean, and what do you need to know as investors and entrepreneurs? Well, that's what me and my co-hosts are here to talk about today. But before we get started, a big thank you to the Token team, to Maria and Hasmik for making today's episode possible. Tushar, welcome to the show. Kick us off, a little intro, a little background for everybody.
Thank you, Kyle. Myself, Tushar Kansal, Kansaltancy Ventures. We are into venture capital. I am personally an investor in 4 companies, took an exit some time back. My company has association with more than 350 global investors. We are also venture advisors with Loyal VC, the Canadian VC fund, which has invested in 160 countries in companies across 35 countries. Today itself, I closed a $200,000 seed capital deal with an organic company which has the highest global certification, EcoCert Cosmos V3. And in spite of the fact that this company has zero revenue, we were able to raise this amount. And happy to be discussing this very exciting topic with Kyle, with Garry, with Vandana, and Abel Bake and Hasmik. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you very much, Tushar. Garry, welcome back. A little intro, a little background.
Yeah, great to be here, Kyle. Great to see my friends, Tushar and Vandana. My name's Garry Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I love artificial intelligence, love startups. Been doing startups since I've been 21 years old. I had my first startup, which is a real estate tech startup that I started in Pennsylvania and grew it over a number of years. My background is, as I said, is artificial intelligence, quantum computing, love cybersecurity. I've done 17 companies. I've been involved in 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company. Today, I'm the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio that's located in Silicon Valley, California. And our idea is that intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities aren't. And we have acceleration. I've dealt with Steve Blank and Bob Dorff and Guy Kawasaki, to name a few, in all kinds of different ways. And I don't mean loosely, been on stage with Guy. So let's talk about it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Garry. Last but not least, Vandana, welcome back. A little intro, a little background.
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for having me here. And my heartfelt gratitude to Token team, Hasmik, Maria, yourself, for organizing these, events where people can connect globally. I had my own family office in Singapore and Jakarta. I worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta, Indonesia, helping startups from a diverse background, from fintech, B2B tech, all the way to consumer startups. I was raising funds for them and providing them with a range of services, just as Convanto does today. After 15 years of staying in Singapore and Jakarta, I came back to India. I did investments for a bit and then returned to advisory. That is when Convanto was founded. Today, Convanto is one of the most well-known boutique investment banks in India, led by a female founder. Today, I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. I'm also a partner with GSD Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley-based venture builder. And over the years, I've arranged funding for startups and growth stage companies in diverse sectors like edtech, fintech, consumer tech, B2B, B2C, agri-tech, health tech, food tech, disruptive and deep tech, as well as non-tech sectors. And I would recommend all of you here to have a look at my website, and look at the wonderful testimonials written by my clients. This month, I've been selected as one of the top 10 women leaders in Wealth Management 2021. My expert opinion is often sought by leading business news channels and publications like VCTV and Business World, and I've participated in 155 talks all over the world. You can easily see them on YouTube and VCTV streaming sites. I'm connected with 300 investors globally. We are sector agnostic, and typically we pick up a $1 million to $25 million. And once again, thank you for having me here. It's a great topic once again, and one of my favorites.
Thank you all very much. Garry, let's kick it off with you. I mean, GSDV, you've been working with early stage companies pretty aggressively and very hands-on in many different countries around the world. What have you seen maybe in terms of trends or changes here as we kind of take this turn into the second half of 2021 around the early stage startup side?
Well, we've seen the acceptance of doing things online. We've seen funds deployed to companies that they'd never met in person. We've seen artificial intelligence and quantum computing companies from all over the world. We work in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Zambia, I mean, literally all over. We've seen companies come out of places you wouldn't think that they would exist, like in Nigeria, a lot of artificial intelligence, fintech. In fact, we just announced a deal in Argentina today in Latin America with X-Coupon Smart Card. So there's a lot of diamonds in the rough, a lot of opportunities. And we've had to really accept this digital transformation. Kyle, quite frankly, now that in Florida, for instance, COVID is really dense again, we're back to the same model, and not in a bad way, because we're used to being on Zoom and StreamYard and some of these Wirecasts, these incredible technologies, but it's a different world. You've got to have an online presence. You got to be involved in pitching competitions. You got to show people with who you are. The first thing they look up when they Google your name is they want to see what kind of articles you publish. Where have you been speaking? Are you an industry expert or not? You've got to spend time to develop that. The other thing is, startups need to look at having advisors and credibility to give them international recognition, because when it's all said and done, they don't know who this company is in Nigeria. They don't know who the company is in Portland. They got to have some way to be able to understand who that company is, and having name brand advisors, guys like Rick Orloff, the former chief security officer at Apple, or Bill Reichert, people that are known throughout the world and have trust and credibility is important today. But it's a wonderful time for companies to come out and to use this global market, because the barriers are down and the opportunities are up. It's doing it the right way.
That's a really good point. And Tushar, I want to come to you next. I know you're working with a lot of early stage companies as well, both locally in India and then globally as well. And so talk to us a little bit about the trends that you may be seeing or otherwise opportunities around the early stage startup scene.
So, if an investor today believes that they can just put in the money and then forget about the company, put some more money in some other company and then forget about it, a spray and pray kind of strategy, it doesn't work. End of the day, if you are early stage, you are taking the benefit of a huge equity which is coming to you for a lesser amount. So you have to handhold them both on the profit and loss side and on the balance sheet side. You have to get them business, you have to get them meetings, you have to be a positive influence on the board of directors in case you have a seat there. And what I'm seeing is that there is a trend amongst VC funds and family offices to go early, to invest early. Having they are getting into it because just like Sequoia started Surge, Kalari started K-Start, and recently a fund which raised $400 million, they announced that they will make an investment in a company within 48 hours of getting introduced to them. So all these things are, they look very good, but end of the day, these companies, they need a lot of help, both on the relationship side, then on the guidance on the management side, whether it is product, market, finance, operations, HR, and thirdly, by getting them relationships across, say, distributors and customers and digital marketing agencies and lawyers and CS and CAs. And that's how we come in. We handhold them and advise them in a variety of ways, and work very closely with them to see that they receive the follow-on funding rounds as well, and grow at a good speed.
It's a great point, Tushar. And speaking of relationships, Vandana, I want to come down to you next. I mean, you've invested in over 150 companies. You work with GSDV, pardon me, and also have a great deal of relationships with investors around the world. What are you and some of those investors seeing change in early stage venture? Specifically, as I said earlier, in the second half of the year as we head towards the end of 2021.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So actually, when demonetization had hit India, many of us didn't know how to use digital payments. And now, if you look at it, the vegetable vendor, the milkman, almost everybody, the taxi driver, are using digital payments because they were pushed to use it. Similarly, when the pandemic hit us, many of us were skeptical to use platforms like Zoom, AirMeet, StreamYard, Microsoft Teams. Only when we were pushed to use these kind of platforms, we realized the importance of it and how we could efficiently, in a day, have 10 to 15 meetings and even close deals. Now, initially, the trend was that investors would look at revenue-making companies most of the time. Now, the trend has changed. If you look at the IPO that Zomato had over here, and now other companies are also getting into it. Similar to that, now investors look at a complementary team, and founder must have the drive to run the show and something disruptive that they are bringing on the table. Even if they are pre-revenue, they would love to invest in that kind of a company. Not only that, I'm seeing a lot many investments happening in fintech, in edtech space, in AI, robotics, IoT, which was not there earlier. So I feel that the trend has totally changed. We have become proactive. We are very progressive. Founders' background can be checked via LinkedIn, via websites. There are other ways. One physically doesn't need to go from place to place and have meetings. So it's very, very important that the mindset is changing. And I am seeing some really unique startups that are being funded that were not being funded before in the health tech space, especially. So I think the trend has totally changed in these kinds of areas.
That's great points all around. And I want to come around for advice that you would give entrepreneurs. I mean, I think each of you gave a little bit of what you're seeing, which leads into advice. But if you were to start a company today, or you are looking to make an investment in an early stage company, what do you want to see now more than ever with each and every one of those companies? For instance, for me, I want to see a company that may be leveraging a distributed team and not necessarily so locally focused or centered, for instance, right? Being able to find the best talent everywhere and being able to bring that best talent together to make the best product that they can to then serve many markets as well, right? And then in terms of what I'm seeing in the data room, I want to see detailed documentation. I want to see white papers and technical docs. I want to see as much as I can to make the quick decision, because some of these decisions are quicker and quicker and quicker. So, Tushar, let's start with you. I mean, what do you want to see with those companies if you're about to make a new early stage investment, and now as you look towards the end of the year, doing more around online? What is one of those things that you want to see improved in companies as a piece of advice for them out there?
Thank you, Kyle. It's a very good question. So the thing is, the earlier you invest, the more you are betting on the founders. Founders, I mean the team. It can be two or three co-founders who form a good amount of balance, and it can be others who are part of the team, but from other spheres, but they might not be holding equity. They may have ESOPs. The second part is that I want the top management, which can be a founder or a CEO, to say that he believes in the cash flows which he has shared with the investor, because end of the day he'll be creating a structure which will have expenses and costs associated with it, but those fixed costs won't get covered till the time incoming cash comes in and the cash flows get balanced out and there are enough free cash flows available to the business for expansion. And I take the example of a company which got funded today $200,000 through us. And this company had a bad experience with around 2 years back. They came out in a new avatar, and they have a good hold of each dollar, where it will go, when it will come back, how it will multiply. They have it at the back of their hand. And they have solid relationships with distributors, not only in India but also in Dubai, in US, Europe. And more than that, they are very firm about the business model. How will their business be positive on the unit economic side? How will it make money? And for a $3 to $10 stuff which they will sell, their competitors are selling it for $15. So they are already pricing it quite aggressively, but still they are positive on the unit economic side. So all these things, I take all these things very seriously. And there are some hygiene factors that you do a basic ref check, that this guy told you that he knows distributors. Just speak to one or two of them, and just see whether their accounts is fine or not, their statutory and regulatory aspect is fine or not.
That's great advice. Thank you, Tushar. Vandana, same question to you.
So when a company comes to us, we make sure that we have checked the founder's background. Of course, the founder's education is very, very important to us as well. Also, what is he or she bringing on the table? How destructive it is? What is the problem that they are solving? Not only that, we also look at if they are making any revenues or no, and or in future if they are showing up any revenues in their financial projections. This really helps us to pick up companies. We pick up mostly tech oriented companies, and we don't prefer picking up liquor, solar, and real estate companies. We are also looking a lot into blockchain nowadays. So that is one sector which we are exploring.
Thank you, Vandana. Garry, close us out. What last piece of advice, or what would you like to see with those companies at the early stage that you may be looking at for GSDV or for other opportunities?
Whenever we look at the companies, we look for the team. We look for their spirit of, their positiveness. They're willing to accept change. We're looking for companies that have a little, as Steve Jobs would say, a dent in the universe. They're providing something a little bit different than anybody else, but really their passion, their optimism, their ability to be able to visualize. And also, on the hard side of it, do they have any sales? Do they have any revenue coming in? And are they capable of being able to generate revenue? And, it's really a three-step approach. One is acceleration, two is regional dominance, but three, and the most important step from our perspective, is can they go global? And so we're looking for that. This is a great time. A lot of challenges in front of us, a lot of changes in the world. The digital transformations upon us and accelerating. Take advantage of it, take the opportunity, and go forward. There's never a better time than the present. You can reach me, Garry Fowler, on LinkedIn, or you can reach me on Twitter, or check my shows out on VCTV or GSD Presents, or you name it, iHeartRadio. I mean, we're all over the place, but it's a great time. Get out there and don't be afraid.
Thank you, Garry. And Vandana, where can everyone find you to continue the conversation?
Yeah, I could be reached out on my LinkedIn handle or my website, www.convanto.com. And I agree with Garry that we also look at companies that go global, that have the drive to go global. So I agree with Garry on those grounds.
Wonderful. Thank you. Tushar.
I'm accessible on my LinkedIn, Tushar Kansal. I searched my name on Google. Not too many other Tushar Kansals are there, so I'm pretty confident you will be able to reach across to me, or my website consultancy.com. And I just wanted to add one point to Garry that 10 Club is a company which is a Thrasio-styled Indian company. They raised $40 million seed capital last month. So it just created a ruffle on the street that seed capital of $40 million. But if you look at, they had letters signed from sellers at Amazon and Flipkart, for that they are willing to sell their business, and they had $15 million worth of letters which they showed to the investors. So they had done their work. They were clearly had a great team, and so if you want to get better amounts, you have to do a little bit more work behind it. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Thank you very much to Tushar, Vandana, and Garry, for all your thoughts and insights. To our audience, make sure you reach out to each and every one of them, including myself. We'd love to hear what you're building, if it's anything in these spaces at the early stage or late stage as well. Big thank you to the Token team, to Maria and Hasmik for making today's episode possible. That's it from us here at VCTV today. We'll be back here tomorrow with more. Everyone have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.